What was your I'm done with this friendship moment? When my son died, who was an identical triplet, one of my friends told me that grieving would be easy as I have 2 other sons who look just like him. I Wilder smacked him 3 times. This last slap should be easy, as you had 2 already. Give them a black eye and be like, it's okay, you have another eye just like it. I output a lot of effort to help her try and get out of a debt caused by shopping sprees. No car, no school. Racked up $25k just to buy stuff. She admitted to spending like $1,000 a month on DoorDash, so we focused on getting her out of that. I work in a place where I get a lot of excess food for free meal kits, so I have an excess of meat and produce every week. And I offered to help her out that way. I brought her a selection of foods and recipes, and when I brought it to her she expected me to cook it for her, stating that she hated cooking and would not cook for herself ever. It was the nail in the coffin that suggested she wouldn't take care of herself and would find a way to get someone else to do it. At that moment I couldn't do it and bounced. Wow, that was really generous of you. So many people would have been beyond grateful for that. It's sad that someone out there treated you that way with your generosity. I'll offer Miner's tribute. Best friends as kids. Still really good friends in high school. Left high school. Went over to see him after he came home for Christmas from university. We hadn't spoken in 4 months, and I was really looking forward to catching up. I went to his parents' house and they invited me in. He sat opposite and proceeded to stonewall all attempts at conversation with single word answers and no return questions. I got the hint he wasn't in the mood and told him to contact me in a few days if he wanted to get a drink and catch up properly. No call ever came. That was 8 years ago. Did you make plans to see him at his parents' house? Or did you just show up unannounced? Even if he did, that's your best buddy. If my best buddy showed up unannounced after 4+ months, I'd at least have the gall to say, not now dude, I'm with my family. Let's do Tuesday. Or some shit. Yeah, no? Yeah. I love when my best friend knocks because he happened to be in the area. This comment is an oasis in the desert of sadness. It reminds me how much I love my homies. When they would only be backquote friends with me when they needed help with their homework, and then afterwards would proceed to make fun of me for being a nerd. I know that feel. I even did their homework, thinking the teasing would stop, and now I bet they are several degrees away from even the chance of calling you their employer. I'm sure you got the last laugh. TBF, I went to school in a posh neighborhood in a posh city. But in my experience those types are sadly also the type that will have a better live than most by just inheritance. We were maybe 12 years old, and every single day was non-stop drama and a self-pity party with her. Every time her custom text tone rang from my phone, my heart jumped. That's how exhausting she was. One day she said, "You're not as fun as you used to be." I was just furious and hurt by that comment after spending many nights trying to make her happy because she was always so sad. I basically said, "Excuse me for acting like an adult." She never answered back and we didn't talk at all after that until I was 19. I reached out to her for nostalgia's sake and she was a lot more mature. She actually apologized to me for acting like an immature emo kid all the time. We chatted for a little bit and it was nice. We still don't talk, but it was nice to catch up and be on good terms with each other. I'm glad you got to have that reconciliation of sorts, albeit late. I've had friendships like that where things went sour because we were immature kids. And for the ones I've been able to talk to again later, it's been really nice to fix a little of what was broken. Even if just by showing we're both improved and we are both glad the other is doing well. I was the only one who started conversations. Been there. I feel that. I noticed that I was usually starting the conversations with most of my older friends. So stopped. Been over 2 years, and apart from work, associates don't get messaged birthday wishes from randoms or anything. It's kind of a nice feeling to let go of that fuckery though. Agreed. I got to a point in my life that I now try 3 times. And if they don't initiate after that, I'm done. I have better things to do with my time than drag out a one-sided friendship. That was a hard lesson for me to learn. The nostalgia really makes you hang on to old friendships. when he made fun of my breakup exactly when I was hurting the most. I did this on accident earlier this week. My friend said her BF broke up with her, and I thought she was joking. My response was, he really gave you covered and dipped. Huh. Turns out, yes, he did do that. Ouch. Friend wanted me to get involved with the church. I did. We read the entire Bible. But eventually he kept insinuating I'm going to hell no matter what, and that I need to keep listening to him. After a year I'm just like, go fuck yourself. My guess is that your friend grew up being taught a bad version of Christianity and was sharing all he knew. So many people are part of religion because of the threat of hell. It's so toxic. They have a never good enough complex. Good on you for rejecting such rubbish. Going to heaven is a free gift if you want it. The Bible is commonly known as good news, but so many people twist it to be bad news. I deleted my entire friend group who I was friends with throughout high school from my life entirely after I went to uni. My uni friends were all very caring for each other and so supportive, and celebrated each other's successes. My friends from my hometown were quite the opposite, always in competition with each other and full of macho egos. It wasn't until I'd experienced what being involved with a genuinely good group of people was like that I realized that wasn't what I had with these people at all. After that realization I didn't want anything else to do with them and their toxicity. It's terrible what you can get used to until something better comes along. Texted him to have coffee 3 times. He cancelled twice and ghosted the 3rd time. We had been friends for 7 years. To this day, 5 years later, I still have no idea what I did to piss him off. Edit. We are both 50-plus-year-old men. I know, right? Could be going through a rough time in life perhaps. Probably when my best friend told me I was faking my type 1 diabetes. He came to visit me in the hospital when I was diagnosed SMH. On the flip side, I let go of a friend who faked leukemia. Care to explain how so and what happened after he was exposed? When I needed her most, when I was home recovering from multiple eye surgeries and was incredibly depressed, she magically never had time for me. Yet when she was having endless issues with her boyfriend I was always there. Still pisses me off. I know that pain all too well. You stand by them no matter what. You try and try. You help them. But in your hour of need, they are never there. It's never a big deal when it's you to them. But God forbid you're not there when they need you after. You're the bad guy. I hate it. We all moved in together, which never goes well. One of them didn't have a job. The other one had a job but stopped showing up to shifts. So I was paying 90% of the rent while living off disability money from the government. I was basically their maid. Whenever it wasn't my turn to do the dishes, they would leave the dishes until they got moldy. Then I would do them. I did all their laundry for them and even bought food for them. The straw that broke the camel's back was I went out of town to meet my boyfriend's parents for the first time. I asked them to take care of my cats while I was gone, which includes cleaning the litter box, since I was gone for over a week. When I got back, the litter box was completely overflowed to the point there was poop on the floor all around the litter box and no one did anything about it. The garbage wasn't taken out to the point where they would just throw their garbage on the floor beside it. Since I wasn't there to do their laundry and they didn't clean the litter box, they left giant piles of clothes everywhere, which my cats decided to pee on because it was a clean spot to bury their business. And of course the dishes were out of control and disgusting. Also they ate all my food. I just cried because I knew I would have to clean everything, but I decided not to, except the litter box. I told the landlord I was moving out, but they were staying. I left all the shit they didn't clean up, even though the dishes were mine, towels were mine, and even left the tiny amount of food I had left. The power and internet was in my name, so I cancelled it on them. All that happened to them was they just found someone else to leech off of, which is unfortunate. Oof. Been there. Right down to the cat poop. Sorry. And get this, one of my horrible ex-friends / ex-roommates actually contacted me earlier this year. It had been almost a decade since we'd last been in touch. She reached out like, hey, what's up? As if nothing had happened. And yes, it was because she wanted something. Had her I kind of want to know what she wanted. I met her when we were in our early 20s and we clicked immediately. She was a little crazy, but I liked that about her. We partied together. We talked for hours. We did the whole best girlfriends sharing a blanket and laughing at stupid movies thing. It was an intense but fun friendship. But then time moved on. We started having a few arguments. She would lash out at me. We nearly came to blows one night when she was super drunk and started insulting me. I forgave her. I had seen her have drama with damn near everyone else we knew. But I thought what we had was different. We were like sisters. We remained friends. Eventually, I got married, had a kid, and moved to another city. One night around 3 AM, she called me upset about something her new boyfriend had done. Despite waking me and my baby up in the middle of the night, I tried to be a good friend and be there for her. Problem was, her phone kept crapping out and she kept calling back over and over. After the 6th or 7th time, she asked if her calling was bothering me. I told her it was fine, but it did keep waking the baby and asked if maybe we could continue the convo the next day. She went ballistic, screaming and cursing me out. She hurled every insult you can imagine at me. Once she had screamed herself out, I told her to fuck off and hung up on her. I was done. I've never spoken to her again. Why ask if it was bothering you if she expected only one answer? Fake kindness maybe. Act like you care about the other party while only expect the answer beneficial to you from said party. Yeah, makes sense. People do that. She was in my wedding and came to the hospital to meet my son the day after he was born. She moved to a different state, got married and pregnant all without telling me. Apologized, then asked me to come to her baby shower, where I very briefly met her husband. She has since returned to the state I live in about 5 times, and each time she has done so without telling me. I find out through social media, the same way I learned all the other details. Friendship is a two-way street, and I'm tired of driving it alone. I was out to dinner meeting my best friend's new boyfriend. We were all having a good time. Then she asked him if he thought I was pretty. He handles it perfectly and told her that he only had eyes for her, but she would not let it up. Finally, she told me to keep my hands to myself. We were best friends. I never once even looked at a guy she was remotely interested in, and I was engaged at the time. So I finished the meal, told him it was great to meet him, went home, and never called or texted her again. She was your best friend? Okay. So even if you didn't call or text her again, she must have right. He was being too confusing. Like one time he told me I don't talk enough and I need to stop reading and talk to him for a bit, and I was like sure, and we talked, but then like next period I tried talking to him and he turned to his other friend and was like, please save me from this boring conversation, and I was just like, WTF bro? Oh, high school. Can't decide if I miss it yet. My friend told me she's too busy to text me and to follow her on Facebook for her life updates. I don't have a Facebook. Then throw a book at her face. I moved to a different school 3 months before the end of year, and I met a kid who started out as a very friendly and ended up being an asshole that bullied me for being foreign. I knew our friendship was over when, after we had an argument, he said to me, why don't you go back to your own country? As a foreigner, I've had some sort of similar thing happen to me. The thing that kept me going was that one day I'll meet a group of people who accepted me for who I am. I eventually did, and we've all been best friends for 10 years now. Never lose hope.